She traded physics labs and the naval intelligence in Naples, Italy for a new life in the Netherlands. And somewhere along the way, she wrote a crime fiction series that turned the publishing world upside down. Elizabeth Heider is a published Random House author, a New York Times bestseller, and the mind behind one of the most buzzed about thriller series out there. She is on a nationwide book tour, and she stopped by the Great Day Live studio this morning to talk about her latest book. Elizabeth, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here.
So I was kind of digging into your background a little bit. You have lived many lives, it seems like. You worked for the U.S. Navy, you worked in physics a long time ago, you were in Naples, Italy. So what made you want to become an author?
You're absolutely right. I've done a lot of different things. I've worn a lot of hats. Yes, I have my PhD in physics, and I did spend about 8 years working with the U.S. Navy as an operations research analyst. So I would deploy aboard naval ships. I was on an aircraft carrier. I was on an amphibious transport dock ship. I deployed a lot to Africa. That was a lot of the work I was doing, and I was stationed in Naples, Italy for a long time. Went on to work with the European Space Agency and Microsoft, but the entire time, I think I always just used writing as a way to process my experiences. And I kind of felt like fiction was actually one of the best ways to tell the truth.
Wow, that is so fascinating. And you're celebrating your second release. Yes. Because this is going to be amazing for people to add to their summer reading list. What is this book about?
So this second book, the main character is named Nikki Serafino, and she's actually inspired by somebody that I know. And she is a liaison between the U.S. military in Naples, Italy, and local law enforcement. And for those of you who don't know Naples, Italy, it's just one of the most fabulously beautiful cities in the world, and also just kind of has a little bit of grit and crime underneath it. So the Camorra is there. So if you've read Gomorrah, or if you've read the Elena Ferrante series, like this is kind of in that same world, and so it's the same streets. And this book starts with a murder in one of the famous churches there. It's this gorgeous church called Chiesa del Gesù Nuovo, and there's this beautiful young woman who is stabbed to death there. And so Nikki is one of the investigators who is called in because the witness to the crime was actually the ambassador's daughter, and she asks for Nikki by name.
Oh my goodness, that is going to be such a really neat read. And so you mentioned, we keep talking about Naples, Italy. Now I need to go there. It's like on my bucket list. But why do you write so much about Naples?
This is actually one of my very favorite places on earth. It's one of the most gorgeous cities, and it's very layered. There's like this sediment of history. I used to live right outside like the Flavian Amphitheater, which is like the sister to the Colosseum.
Oh, cool.
And it's kind of built on this geological foundation of, it's very geothermally active. You have Vesuvius, which of course has erupted several times, and so it's sort of a symbolic threat that's kind of underneath everything all the time. But it's also one of the warmest, most beautiful cultures, and some of the most fabulous food, and one of the beautiful places. Exactly.
Oh my God,
Yes, no, it's stunningly beautiful. Like the Amalfi Coast, you drive along and it's just amazing. Sorrento, so it's visually just so arresting, and also just culturally very warm and very fun. Yeah.
It's just so inspiring there, I am sure.
It is.
It's on my bucket list for sure. And so is this book too. And what is just so great is this is just your second release, but you actually are going to be releasing like a TV series as well?
It is. There's not much I can really say about it yet, but it was optioned for television almost immediately before the first book came out.
Oh my gosh.
They renewed the option, and actually it's been picked up for development by a major streaming platform. So I can't talk about that very much, but I'm very excited about it.
I'm very excited for you.
Thank you.
I mean, that's amazing. When you started writing, did you ever think it would just pan out to be like this?
I think when I write, it's kind of my way of trying to process my experiences, trying to look at the world in a specific way, to try to capture what I understand about, power structures, what I understand about how people function, what matters to them. And so I really am very happy when it sort of grips people and they resonate with it. But no, I didn't expect it was going to be so popular. It's wonderful. Yes.
It really, really is. And so you're actually doing an event in Lexington this week.
I am. I love Kentucky. I came here for the first book, and it was wonderful. It's Joseph Beth Bookstore, and they're hosting me in 2 different locations. So the first event is going to be on Thursday at 7 in the Lexington location, and then in Cincinnati the following day on Friday. So I would love for people to come to that.
And get their hands on their new summer read. Again, you're gonna wanna add this one to your list. So if people are interested, maybe they can't come to the meet and greet, but they definitely wanna get their hands on the book. How can they do that?
Well, Joseph Beth is obviously carrying it, so that's a wonderful place to go for that. It's also available online in a number of different locations. So if you just go ahead and look at my website, elizabethheider.com, or just go ahead and Google the names of the book or my name, you'll be able to buy it.
All right, Elizabeth, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
All right, so again, to learn more, get your hands on that book, just head over to her website, elizabethheider.com.